Welcome to Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark. Be a part of the solution, instead of part of the problem. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is the use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips and balance in favor of fair use. Say hello, everyone that came in. Please hit the like, subscribe, and the share. We need to learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, and plead the case of the widow. Make sure that I've got trigger warning showing up here. I know I did a story where there were 4 of them that was arrested in this Bibb County, Alabama bunker before. Now it's been 8 arrested. And we're looking that there's going to be many, many more arrested as well. Without further ado, I'm going to start it off at the very beginning just so that y'all never heard of this case before. And now you will. This right here were 3 men accused of drugging multiple children, taking them to underground bunker to sexually abuse them. Thanks to personally alert 14, alert4.com, excuse me. So this is Bibb County, Alabama. 3 men are facing charges after they allegedly sexually abused children in an underground bunker in Alabama. According to the Bibb County Sheriff's Office, the investigation began in early February. Investigation arrested 3 men in the case, including William Chase McElroy, he's the left, Andre Trejo Velasquez, he was in a gang, and he's the one that sent the pictures around and got customers, so to speak. And Dalton Terrell, that's right here. The sheriff's office said the underground bunker in question was located in Brent, Alabama, about an hour's drive southwest of Birmingham. 6 children were allegedly drugged. At the time, it was 6, okay? And now it's up to 10. There's probably others as well. 6 children were allegedly drugged and taken to the bunker, according to Assistant District Attorney Brian Jones. Officials say those victims were between 3 to 10 years old. Investigators say multiple suspects are accused of paying to sexually abuse the children. The victims are now in the custody of the Alabama Department of Human Resources. It's just unimaginable that someone could do this to a child, Jones said. Children are defenseless, and they depend on adults to take care of them and protect them. Then when adults do these type of things to them, it's just really horrific. Investigators arrested 3 men in the case, including William Chase McElroy, Dalton Terrell, and Andre Trejo Velasquez. Officials say McElroy, and Terrell are both facing multiple charges of first-degree rape, first-degree sodomy, and first-degree human trafficking. McElroy is also charged with multiple counts of first-degree kidnapping. Terrell is also accused of paying adults for access to their children to sexually assault them. Court documents say during 2024 and 25, Terrell sexually assaulted multiple underage victims, ranging in age from 3 to 16. It's unclear if these are the alleged assaults that took place in the underground bunker. Virgil Velasquez is charged with 6 counts of first degree human trafficking. All 3 suspects are being held in the Bibb County Jail. Such abhorrent behavior will not be tolerated in Bibb County, and that offenders will face prosecution to the fullest extent of the law, said Bibb County Sheriff Jody Waite. Jones said more victims are expected to come forward and additional arrests are likely. A 4th person has been indicted in connection to the case, but his name is being withheld as authorities continue to search for him. Under Alabama law, if any of the suspects are convicted of a crime involving a child 6 years old or younger, they face a mandatory minimum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. We've been seeing a lot of cases where the kids have been that young, 6 and under, and they're still getting a slap on the wrist. How come you're not doing that? You know, how come you're not giving these people life sentences? We've seen too many cases under Alabama law. So y'all need to go and prosecute the people that's supposed to be doing the law of Alabama when they're letting the people that's over that's six and that have messed with somebody 6 years old or younger. Um, it's a mandatory minimum. So, excuse me, y'all need to go after these judges and lawyers who's doing this. The Central Alabama Regional Child Advocacy Center said it is deeply saddened by the recent events involving several children in Bibb County, but excuse me, getting tongue tied, but proud to be a part of a multidisciplinary team involved in the investigation. The CARCAC is committed to team-oriented approach to providing support to the child and family during such times. The center said in a statement, "Our belief is that all children should be safe and protected from abuse, and we strive to attain the goal every day." As the investigation continues, the center said it will continue to support the families and its partner agencies throughout the process. And it says, if you have any information, you are asked to contact the Bibb County Sheriff's Office at 205-926-4683. Again, the number is 205-926-4683. Let's go to the next one. I'll make sure nobody said anything. Hi there, Chris. Good to see you. Oh, no. That's not good. Bunker of Hell. Men allegedly paid to rape small children in underground enclosure for more than a year. 3 Alabama men were indicted on charges related to operating the child sexual abuse ring for more than a year, local authorities said. I think it said 2022 to 2025. 3 men in Alabama have been arrested and charged in connection with operating a child sex abuse ring for more than a year. The men are accused of drugging the children and bringing them to a local storm shelter where the abuse took place. The men's alleged victims ranged from 3 to 10 years old. 3 Alabama men have been arrested for allegedly operating what local authorities described as an abhorrent and horrific child sex abuse ring out of an underground bunker near their homes in Brent, Alabama. And they was wondering if there was some kind of connection, but they said that the 3 men ended up living within a mile of each other. The Bibb County Sheriff's Office said McElroy, 21, has been charged with 4 counts of rape, 6 counts of human trafficking, 6 counts of sodomy, 4 counts of kidnapping. Terrell, also 21, was charged with 6 counts of rape, 12 counts of sodomy, and 5 counts of human trafficking. Meanwhile, Velasquez Trejo was charged with 6 counts of human trafficking. We went over this. So over the weekend, that the three men allegedly carried out their child sex abuse operation for more than a year between January 24 and April 25. The men's alleged victims ranged from 3 to 10 years old. The outlet reported cited charging documents. McElroy and Terrell alleged admitted to sexually abusing the children, while Velasquez Trejo is accused of selling nude images of the victims to other suspects before also selling the children themselves. Authorities haven't yet determined how the three men knew each other, but noted they all live in trailers within a mile of one another. The children were allegedly drugged and brought to the bunker, according to a report, which also described the bunker as a local storm shelter. Robert Turner Jr., the DA for the Fourth Circuit of Alabama, said in a statement on Tuesday that there are more anticipated arrests to follow. Below the three men already indicted. This case represents one of the most troubling and complex investigations our office has undertaken. These allegations are sadistic and sickening. It said that Assistant DA Brian Jones said it's just unimaginable that someone could do this to a child. It's more rampant, don't you? You didn't know that, man? When you being a DA, children are defenseless and they depend on adults to take care of them and protect them. And when adults do these type of things to them, it's just really horrific. Neighbors and other community members have since taken to social media to call for justice. Misty Coburn, a neighbor who lived near one of the suspects, told WBTM that she believes the men deserve way worse than prison in her mind. I couldn't imagine the amount of pain the children went through and the amount of pain that they should go through. The neighbor said, I don't think there's a way to even do it. And now, here is where it's the fourth man that was accused of kidnapping, trafficking, sexual abuse of children in Bibb County underground bunker. See if there's a date on this. This is went back to July of 2025. Four men have been arrested following concerns of sexual abuse of children in an underground bunker located in Brent. Following those concerns, the Bibb County Sheriff's Office launched an investigation on February the 4th, 2025. 6 children were allegedly drugged and taken to a storm shelter in Brent that was used as a bunker where the abuse occurred, according to Assistant District Attorney Brian Jones. Here is the bunker right here, y'all. That's it. Here it is right here. During the investigation, authorities say William Chase McElroy was arrested in the case. Officials say on April 25th, 2025, they identified and arrested Dalton Terrell as the second suspect in the case. Terrell was previously arrested for allegedly paying adults for access to children for sexual purposes. As the investigation continued, a third suspect, Andre Trejo Velasquez, was arrested on April 29th. A fourth suspect, identified as 23-year-old Timothy St. John, was indicted in connection to the case and was arrested on Tuesday, July 22nd. Investigators say multiple suspects are accused of paying to sexually abuse the children. The victims are now in the custody of the Alabama Department of Human Resources. More victims are expected to come forward and additional arrests are likely. Okay, so we're going down. We're going to go to a more. We're going to go to a more in-depth thing. All four suspects are being held in the Bibb County Jail. Hopefully, one got away and put to out of state, out of the country. Hopefully, and we got that again. So let's just get rid of that. And these is two others who had got to arrest in Bibb County child sexual abuse bunker case. This was Rebecca Brewer and Ricky Terrell. A woman and man charged in connection to the Bibb County child abuse investigation involving an underground bunker faces new charges. Rebecca Brewer and Ricky Terrell are now charged with first-degree rape and sexual torture of a child less than 12 years old. Brewer was previously charged with 8 counts of human trafficking and kidnapping and 3 counts of sexual torture. Terrell was previously charged with rape. Bibb County authorities have described the case as a shocking underground operation involving child sexual abuse, human trafficking, and the bunker. And yeah, an animal was involved as well. As of now, 10 children have been identified as victims and 7 people have been charged in connection to the investigation. They even used dog shock collars, okay? Now, here's one of the girls right here. I want to show y'all that she had been arrested also in 2022, but it was nothing as major as the child sexual. She possession forged instrument, possession of forged instrument. She got $1,000 bond. And here's where she was arrested in Prattville, Alabama for a probation violation and obstruction. And here she is right here, where an 8th person is charged. She was the 8th one, the recent one, okay? The horrific Bibb County child sex trafficking case. Olivia, let's you see her picture. Elam of Brent is charged with 5 counts of first-degree rape, 9 counts of first-degree sodomy, 9 counts of first-degree human trafficking, 8 counts of first-degree kidnapping, aggravated child abuse, and sexual torture abuse. Elam was indicted on all the charges on Tuesday. The indictment accused her of having sex with minors under the age of 12 and at least one case penetrating a child with an inanimate object. That's why I tell y'all, you cannot just go and say you cut off manhood, okay? Because they use other objects. And see, she's a woman and she used an object. See what I mean, y'all? She is also accused of obtaining, recruiting, soliciting, threatening, harboring, restraining, transporting, or maintaining minors for sexual servitude. She is also accused of severely beating the children. The Bibb County Sheriff's Office discovered multiple children were being abused in an underground bunker after an investigation that began in February. 1819 News broke the story in May when Andres Trejo Velasquez, 29 of Brent, was indicted on 6 counts of first-degree human trafficking. He was the first of 8 people who have now been arrested. Sheriff Jody Wade said more arrests are possible. He said there are possible ties to the Torinos Mexican American gang. That's where he is. Andres Trejo Velasquez is a member of that gang. It's been verified now, okay? So Timothy St. John Jr., 23, is charged with 2 counts of first-degree rape, 4 counts of first-degree sodomy, 4 counts of human trafficking, 3 counts of first-degree kidnapping, bestiality, and aggravated cruelty to animals. Rebecca Brewer is charged with 8 counts of human trafficking, 8 counts of first-degree kidnapping, and 3 counts of sexual torture. Ricky Terrell is charged with first-degree rape. Sarah Louise Terrell is charged with sexual torture and 2 counts of sexual abuse of a child less than 12. William Chase McElroy was indicted on 20 charges, including human trafficking, rape, sodomy, and kidnapping. Dalton Terrell was indicted on 22 charges, including kidnapping, rape, and sodomy. According to court documents, the ages of the children at the time they were victimized ranged from age 2 to age 10. The children have been removed and are in the custody of the Department of Human Resources, although Wade said he believes there are more victims who have not been discovered. Okay. Let me warn you, this is going to be graphic. This August 18th. Okay. The court hearings reveal new details in Bibb County child sex abuse bunker case. All 8 suspects in the Bibb County child sex abuse investigation arrived at the Bibb County Courthouse Friday for various hearings. The case, which allegedly involves an underground bunker, has drawn significant attention. The suspects were transported to the courthouse alongside other inmates. 7 of the suspects, Rebecca Brewer, William Chase McElroy, Andre Trejo Velasquez, Sarah Terrell, Ricky Terrell, Olivia Alam, and Timothy St. John, were arraigned in court, each pleading not guilty or not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. Can y'all believe that? They all said not guilty or not guilty for reason of mental, basically. Dalton Terrell was present but not arraigned due to an attorney's personal matter. Anonymous law hearings were held for 5 of the suspects: Brewer, Sarah Terrell, Ricky Terrell, Elam, and St. John. So the 3 women were okay. The investigation, Justin Hobbs testifying on behalf of the Bibb County Sheriff's Office. Let me warn y'all, it's going to get a little disturbing here, okay? Provided disturbing details about the case. Hobbs said the investigation began with 2 children in the Department of Human Resources custody began exhibiting inappropriate behavior, which the children later attributed to learning from William Chase McElroy in a secret bunker. If I'm not mistaken, it was also reported by a teacher, and nothing was done at that percent time. McElroy was arrested, and Hobbs said he admitted to possessing child pornography. Both McElroy and Terrell reportedly gave confessions. During forensic interviews, Hobbs said minor children disclosed being touched and hurt in private areas by the suspect, and they illustrated these experiences in drawings. Hobbs testified that several co-defendants described a drugging process involved crushed white powder and liquid substances referred to as liquid G water, or liquid ecstasy. These drugs were allegedly administered to the children, mixed in liquid in certain bottles, rendering them essentially unconscious. The bunker, first entered by investigators on February the 5th, 2025, contained a bed, chair, toilet, and sink. Hobbs said co-defendants described how children were tied, bound, and exploited for financial gain. Hobbs testified that financial statements reportedly linked Ricky Terrell to the bunker. On April the 25th, investigators returned to the bunker, finding an altar with a strong bleach odor, a missing bed, and water pooling on the floor. A dirty diaper was also discovered. DNA samples are pending, and the children have been drug tested by the state and Shelby County Department of Human Resources. Hobbs testified that the investigators reportedly have evidence suggesting 50 to 20 other unidentified people may have paid to enter the alleged underground bunker. So there's 15 to 20 other adults, possibly, probably even more than that, because how sick and sadistic this is, right? Hobbs said the drugs were identified by co-defendants as liquid ecstasy, GHB, and other forms of ecstasy. The bunker was believed to be operational for 2022. See how I told y'all about 2022? That's where I got it from, okay? To be operational for 2022 until the first arrest in early 2025. School employees reportedly filed reports to DHR regarding some of the child victims. All 5 suspects from the announced law hearings, along with the remaining 3, are being held without bond. I think that's all of that. So what we know so far about Bibb County bunker case, and this is September 15th, so this was pretty late. This was recently. Hey, David, good to see you. Thanks for coming. Yeah, they do need prison for life. Bubba's going to have fun with these guys. Don't drop the soap. So here they are right here. Let me go over these pictures right here, and I'll show you each one and tell you what they did. Okay, the very first one right here, that is Olivia Jaylee Elam. 5 counts of first-degree rape, 9 counts of sodomy, 9 counts of human trafficking of minors, 1 count of aggravated child abuse, 9 counts of kidnapping, sexual torture of a child under the age of 12. This right here was William Chase McElroy. 4 counts first-degree rape, 6 counts sodomy, 6 counts of trafficking, and 4 counts of kidnapping. Dalton Terrell, that's the third one. 5 counts of rape, 7 counts of sodomy, 6 counts of trafficking, and 4 counts of kidnapping. Rebecca Brown, the far right. First degree rape, 8 counts trafficking, 8 counts trafficking, 3 counts of sexual torture. Now here's Ricky Terrell. He's the one that supposedly got connections to that bunker, so I'm thinking that must be his bunker. So first degree rape, sexual torture of a child under 12, and he's got prior drug arrest, okay? Now Sarah Louise Terrell, 1 count of sexual torture, 2 counts of child sexual abuse under the age of 12. This guy is, oh man, Timothy St. John, prior arrest of theft, burglary, and drug offensive, 2 counts of rape, 4 counts of sodomy, 4 counts of trafficking, 3 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of bestiality, and 1 count of cruelty to animals. I kid you not. He sexualized an animal, okay? He savagely cruel or depraved behavior, sexual intercourse between a person and an animal. There you go. All right. So that's where you get that from. Now, this guy over here is a gang member. He's the one that took pictures of victims. He's got his Andres Trahan Velasquez, 6 counts of trafficking, accused of sending explicit images and connecting victims with offenders. Homeland Security investigations assisted in the arrest. Is a verified member of the Cerritos gang. So let's go on further down now. Continues to stay on top of the developments out of Bibb County, where 8 people have been charged with sex crimes against children that authorities say took place inside a bunker. The details of the case, they had handcuffs too, y'all, and they had shock collars as well, okay? The details of the case are disturbing and has rocked a rural community to its foundation. Down a dirt road off Aaron Drive near Brent, investigators say they uncovered a crime scene like no other. Bibb County Sheriff Jody Wade struggled to find words. I can't think of a way to describe it other than just horrific. When asked if he'd have ever seen anything like this before, Wade simply said, "No, ma'am." It all began February the 4th with a tip about possible child abuse. What investigators uncovered was far worse. thanks to the school teacher, okay, that noticed that something was wrong, right? At least 10 children, ages 3 to 15, were allegedly victims of rape, trafficking, and sexual torture. The abuse allegedly happened inside a hidden underground bunker originally built as a storm shelter. That's something that never leaves your mind, Wade said. When you have those times, it's dark and quiet. It's just you and your thoughts. There's things you never forget in law enforcement. 8 suspects now face more than 100 felony counts combined. On July the 31st, Sheriff Wade revealed that some of the offenders were the victim's own parents or relatives. And I believe that's the Terrells. Here's what we know about each one. I went over when we looked at the pictures a few minutes ago. Olivia Shelley Lamb is charged with 5 counts of first degree. Note the names because y'all might hear them again sometime in the future. So make sure. Olivia Shelley Lamb is charged with 5 counts of first degree rape, 9 counts of sodomy, 9 counts of human trafficking of minors, 9 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of aggravated child abuse, and sexual torture of a child under 12. Elam has no significant, not, okay, you notice they put significant? Okay, previous criminal history. So they want to say, so don't think that she didn't have any criminal history because she did. William Chase McElroy is charged with 4 counts of first degree rape, 6 counts of sodomy, 6 counts of trafficking, and 4 counts of kidnapping. Investigators say he admitted to inappropriate contact with a child. No major criminal history was noted before this case. Don't mean it wasn't any, right? Dalton Terrell faces 5 counts of rape, 7 counts of sodomy, 6 counts of trafficking, and 4 counts of kidnapping. Investigators say he confessed to unlawful sexual activity. Rebecca Brewer is charged with first degree rape, 8 counts of trafficking, 8 counts of kidnapping, and 3 counts of sexual torture. You notice there were 3 people with the last name of Terrell. Okay. Rebecca Brewer is charged with first degree rape, 8 counts of trafficking, 8 counts of kidnapping, and 3 counts of sexual torture. Ricky Terrell is charged with first degree rape and sexual torture of a child under 12. He has prior drug arrest. Sarah Louise Terrell is charged with 1 count of sexual torture and 2 counts of child sexual abuse under 12. Timothy St. John, who has prior arrest for theft, burglary, and drug offenses, is now charged with 2 counts of rape, 4 counts of sodomy, 4 counts of trafficking, 3 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of bestiality. They misspelled that. That's a bestiality. That's bestiality. And 1 count of cruelty to animals. Andre Trejo Velasquez is charged with 6 counts of trafficking. He is accused of sending explicit images and connecting victims with offenders. The Department of Homeland Security confirms HSI assisted in his arrest and adds that Trejo Velasquez is a verified member of the Serenos gang. Together, investigators say the group orchestrated systematic and coordinated operation, arranging so-called appointments in the bunker for child sexual exploitation. As you start turning over more rocks, more things develop, Sheriff Wade said. Fortunately, I think everything in this particular case we know we got handed right now as part of the children and suspects. Back in July, before a gag order was issued prohibiting law enforcement and attorneys from speaking to the media, District Attorney Robert Turner Jr. said the case was a top priority. We are going to do everything we can to make sure justice is needed out in this case. Well, I hope so. We're watching you. As the investigation continues, Sheriff Wade says it's still unclear if any other victims if other victims or suspects may be involved. And it did say that earlier, the other thing that they think there's 10 to 15 to 20 more, I think it said. That would be hard to say. We're still looking to see if there are. We're not aware of any local victims who haven't been identified. Right now, we're just trying to run down any more possible offenders, even if they are out of state that may have traveled here, he explained. With the case involving children, experts say the trauma will be long lasting. Stephanie Griffin, an instructor at Jacksonville State University's Department of Social Work, explains the impact. The trauma is there. Every case of abuse has a different level of trauma. But you have to think about these young children. They're learning to trust adults. Who can I trust? How do I trust? That completely breaks that down for them. They need to go through some extensive therapy because guess what? They couldn't trust any people, right? Griffin says treatment will not be one size fits all, but talking and learning coping skills is key. Like you mentioned, family members who should be the people we can trust. So there's a significant level of trauma there for those kids, Griffin said. The idea would be that they receive intensive therapy that is available in most counties at child advocacy centers for free. For now, Sheriff Wade says the children are safe and receiving counseling. With the Department of Human Resources being involved, they're able to get those children to a safe place, make sure their mental and physical needs are met, get them into the counseling that's going to be best to have as normal of a life as they possibly can, following that point, said Wade. So we looked at the definition of bestiality. So now we're looking at the Serenos group right here. This is where they got a tattoo on the back of them right here. Okay. Okay. Minimize that. That is Spanish for Southerners, also known as Southern United Raza. Sur 13 and Serenos X3 are groups of loosely affiliated gangs, and they pay tribute to the Mexican mafia while the U.S. state and federal correctional facilities. Many Sereno gangs have rivalries with one another, and the only time this rivalry is set aside is when they enter. Let's get that off of there. The prison system, thus finding in common among different Sereno gangs, even though they share a common identity. Serenos have emerged as a national gang in the United States. It said it started out in California but with California having a three-strike law, so they're not going and get that off of there. Sorry. Come on, get off of there. I don't want you there. Get off of there, please. Don't need that on there. So let's get that tools off of there. There, get that off of there. Maybe hide. Wanted to hide. There we go. So anyway, look at the activities they do here, right? They're in 35 U.S. states. Their activities is drug trafficking, arms trafficking, human trafficking, extortion, robbery, auto theft, fraud, identity theft, homicide, and assault. It goes on and on. See the new comments down here. Hello, Carlene. These prisoners don't like these. No, they don't like them, do they? They don't like pedophiles and stuff. I think it's very imperative that we get this out there. So they had actually caught 8 at the moment, and there's possibly more. But let me share I don't know if y'all can maximize your screen again. If y'all can. If you look at Dalton Terrell, he's very young. And then Ricky Terrell, I can't help but wonder if that's his parents, is Ricky Terrell. and Sarah Louise Terrell, because they look a lot older. So that's actually family, I believe. Sick and twisted, isn't it, y'all? Can y'all see the picture okay? Let's see if I could get the picture up of that from my folders right quick. And I'll show their picture a little bit better. It might be easier for y'all to see. Now, hold on a second. So look at them right here. So there's Olivia Shaylee Elam, William Chase McElroy, Dalton Terrell. He's in his 20s. And so there's Rebecca Brewer, Ricky Terrell, Sarah Louise Terrell, Timothy St. John. That's one that was into bestiality, sexual contact with animals with a dog. Andre Trejo Velasquez, who took photos and exploited the children, getting more people to come and do these heinous acts to the children. Y'all are sick. Y'all are disgusting. And you women, especially, should know better than that. Y'all are not true men. Y'all are very inhumane. Sorry, pieces of crap. I'll say that. Please like, subscribe, and share, and pass this along. We're finding more and more of these perpetrators who had come and bought these children and exploited them. Pray for these children that they can heal and they can get better. Pray that they do not get in bad homes. Thank you so much. God bless y'all.